Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. Sorry I've been gone for so long. If you guys watched my last video, you'll know that the entire family came down with the Ronas at pretty much the exact same time, and it has been hanging on like a dingleberry in the wind. I mean, it just will not go away. Today is the first day where I feel like my voice is at least good enough to get back in front of the camera, but there was something that happened while my voice was completely gone that I wanted to make a video about so bad, but I finally get to make that video today, and it's very exciting because there has been a massive expansion of the California handgun roster. As you guys know, over the past few months, things have been kind of trickling in, some new things, some good things, some not so good things. A lot of the stuff that's been trickling in are things that people in California don't really want all that much, and every once in a while you get, one or two things that people actually do want. But now there has been a huge new entry of things that are not only the new things that everybody else in the free states are getting, but these are things that Californians have actually been asking for. So it is very exciting to see this big new swath of things added to the roster, and I wanted to share that with you guys today. So let's get to it. This video is proud to be sponsored by Scheels. In my opinion, the greatest outdoor adventure, sports, and active lifestyle store that you will ever visit, with some of the best experts on hand to answer all of your questions. And with 30 locations across the country, there's probably one close to you that you can visit. Scheels is your retail destination for sports, outdoors, and fashion. With unrivaled passion for their field, each of Scheels sales associates are expertly trained to give you the best in-store experience. They have to be experts out of the store before Scheels will call them experts in the store. Not only does Scheels have a huge selection of everything you're looking for outdoors, hunting, archery, active wear, but they also have a Scheels guarantee. Everything you buy at Scheels, on sale or otherwise, is guaranteed satisfactory or your money back. So visit your local Scheels or visit them online to see what everybody's talking about and to take advantage of some of the best deals. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So I had heard about some of these being added to the roster months ago, but as you know, California, with their whole approval process, it takes quite a bit of time. There has to be an application, and that application has to go through California's own testing process, and there's fees that have to be paid. There's a lot that needs to happen in order for a company to get something on the roster and then get that thing approved. So once it's on the roster, that's great, but it could take months to actually get there. Now, the things that we're going to be talking about today are things that, like I said before, people in California actually want. And in my opinion, I think that these are great additions as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what was just added. Now, real quick, for those of you who are wondering how to look this up for yourself, it's very easy. All you have to do is simply Google the roster and recently added. Usually the first link that pops up is to the California DOJ BOF, and you can click on that and it'll show you everything that's been recently added so that you can look for yourself whenever you'd like. So let's go ahead and take a look at that list. Now, we have on the list, we have several different manufacturers and some things that I think a lot of people are going to like. So we have the Springfield XDM Elite, we have the Hellcat Pro, obviously we have the Anaconda. I don't see why that's a big surprise there, but we also have the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 2.0 Compact, which is cool. We have the Kimber K6 XS Carry, the M&P Shield Plus, which is going to be the new Shield. I know in California there used to be the original Shield on the roster. The standard Hellcat, and then we have the M&P 9 2.0, and then obviously based on the video that I made previously, the 365 still shows up as recently added. So that's 8 different things that people actually want that popped up on the same day, and it covers a pretty wide variety from full size to subcompact to compact, kind of all of the different sizes in between. It seems like just about everything there is covered, which is fantastic. And these are all very good options. I know that some people, have different brand choices and stuff like that, but these are good, solid options for people in the state of California who have been limited to things that are 25 years old and older previously because of microstamping. Microstamping kept everything off the roster because microstamping doesn't exist. So the case of Boland v. Bonta, when it got an injunction placed against the roster and some of its components, one of those components that remains enjoined is going to be that microstamping requirement. So without that requirement, you still need the LCM. You still need, a couple other things that need to be there that are different than what you might have in free states, but they're not like deal breaker things, right? I mean, they're kind of inconveniences, and some of them I don't like more than others, but for the most part, these are still very viable, good options. And I know people are asking, well, when are we going to get like Gen 5, G19, 17, and so forth? That's the big one for me, because I know that people absolutely love that brand. They've been stuck with the Gen 3s there in that state forever, and so people are wondering when the Gen 5s are gonna hit the list. And that, to be honest with you, I don't know. That's the only one that I can't seem to find out. But I think that's one of those things where we're just gonna have to keep checking daily to see what gets added next. But I can tell you, with California, the number of background checks that are run on a daily basis in that state, people in free states would be absolutely shocked at how much business is done in the state of California. I mean, it's a huge market. And so you have a lot of these big companies that are rushing in right now trying to take advantage of that market. And so as long as there is demand, you're going to have these bigger and bigger companies trying to get in there because they want a piece of that pie. And so if the demand stays high, then we're going to see more stuff get added to the roster. So that's kind of where things are right now. I think a lot of companies are kind of trying to rush into the state with whatever they can at the moment, while they're trying to work on other things that they can get in, after they can get in the easier stuff, the things that are easy to add little parts and pieces to make them compliant for the state. But yeah, we'll see what happens, with the other brands, what they decide to do. But we have several big brands back in the state, with the 365 and the compacts and everything else. I think that there's definitely a lot more better options available than there was 6 months ago even. And so it's really exciting. I'm excited to check it. I check it pretty much constantly to see what else has been added. But that Boland made a huge difference in the state of California. Now, that case isn't over. There's other cases that are dealing with the roster as well. As a matter of fact, there's multiple cases that are at the 9th Circuit level right now that deal with this pretty much exact same thing. So there's a good chance that we could see this completely overturned, where we wouldn't need any of the, little trinkets and things that California requires to be added to make it on the roster even be necessary. And without those, you could pretty much bring in whatever you want. It would take the roster from something that, kind of puts a stranglehold on what people can have in California to something that's really just a list of what's available. And that's kind of the end game here. The end game is to get rid of the roster requirements altogether, which would be phenomenal. I think that we can actually make that happen. I mean, there's some pretty big groups that are involved with these. Their lawyers have excellent arguments, and post Bruin, there's no way to make a roster hold up. You can't go back in time, from the founding of our country and the ratification of the Second Amendment to the Reconstruction era and find anything like a roster. There's no way you're going to find that. So there's no historical analog that's going to back up that law. And I think that that in itself is going to be a big benefit to completely overturning the roster eventually. So at least in the meantime, right now, without that microstamping requirement, people in California are finally getting the new stuff, and it's exciting to report on good news. A lot of people click on the stuff that's always the bad news, the big horrible thing that's happened, right? People like to click on that just to see what's going on. But every once in a while, man, there's good news, and we need to pay attention to the good news just like we do the bad news, because this is something worth being excited about. Anyway, I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I think I can start making videos on a daily basis again. You guys have a good one.